Greetings, I'm Mark with Unlimited Story, a channel dedicated to writing, world building, marketing, and most importantly, getting things done. If that's interesting to you, consider subscribing or checking out our website, unlimited-story.com. In this episode, I am going to be covering episode number 4 of Loki in a review because that's what I've been doing for a while, and I just so happen to like doing it. So if that's why you're here, sit tight because that's what I'm going to do right now. And welcome back. So let's get started. What episode did I watch? Number 4. What did I think of it initially? Why is Loki so bad at everything? Like, this specific variant is just, he's just not good at things. And I know it was written that way because the actual character is capable, right? You know, he can do all these, abilities and so on, but just throughout this entire series, he has just been awful. They expect him of lying, so every time he lies, it just doesn't work. And I guess all his abilities, or times where he could utilize his abilities, wasn't done well. Okay, so like on the train, he's just not using his abilities as well as he knows he should. And then just generally, he cannot fight his way out of a wet paper bag. He is fighting humans and getting destroyed, even though he is more than capable of taking on Captain America one-on-one, and he would have beat Captain America one-on-one as he did in the first Avengers movie. So I'm just simply stating, he was written to lose this entire series / season, whatever you want to call it, and it's really irritating. I've not enjoyed it at all. Like, I just do not enjoy him constantly losing. He has yet to have like a real sizable win throughout the show. He just legitimately just keeps losing, and I find it really irritating. What was my favorite part? I didn't really have something that I was like, this is really, really amazing. But there was one scene that I was like, okay, I did, I guess, enjoy it. And that was when Hunter B-15 and Sylvia went to Rock's cart, and they did the whole like memory return thing. And I didn't really love it for what it was. I really enjoyed it because it reminded me of the scene for V for Vendetta where, the gal goes out in the rain, Evie goes out in the rain, and, it's this really, amazing moment. So you get credit for that. It's a cool scene. There's really good cinematography in that. What was my least favorite part? Loki's death, because he dies all the time now, to Renslayer. My biggest problem isn't the actual that he died to Renslayer. It's that Sylvia did not kill Renslayer, okay? She didn't kill her, even though if there's anyone that Sylvia would want to kill, it would be Renslayer. And then 2, she had another opportunity to kill her. She ain't killing, and I don't know why. She obviously has no problem killing people because she's killed hundreds of Minutemen, it appears, but when it comes to the person that she really should be killing, just no. Was there anything unclear or confusing? Well, some of this stuff, it's done on purpose so that it is unclear or confusing. So my first one is, why is 2 Lokis like having a relationship of sorts breaking reality? Like, why? Like, come on. My only thought process was that, okay, these variants are kind of like the movie The One with Jet Li, where, as other variants die or something happens, like the other ones get more powerful. I thought that'd be really cool, but that doesn't seem to be the case, or maybe it is. I just don't know, but whatever. They're breaking. I just don't get why they're breaking reality. This doesn't. It's counterintuitive to the rules already established, because if they die and everyone else around them dies, how is this affecting the sacred? Okay, anyway, so also, why did they have to go to the Keepers to be executed? Those guys are machines, so the machines told Renslayer that they wanted to do this. I thought Renslayer would know that they're robots, and maybe she knows who the big guy is, but maybe she doesn't. I guess that really doesn't matter. She didn't seem like too shocked that the Timekeepers were beheaded, or the main one was, so yeah, why? Like, I just don't see the purpose of them seeing that execution, or an execution, the pruning, right? The pruning where they just get sent to the Loki dumpster. What are my thoughts on the main character? He's fine, I guess. Like, apparently he went through this big emotional change by getting kicked and punched by Lady Sif for a while, and it just, I don't know, I didn't feel like it was believable. It just kind of happened, and great. So but he already knew he was a narcissist. Like, he's a lot of these things that he is admitting to, like, he's already kind of privy to it. Like, he knows he craves attention. He knows he's in love with himself. So I didn't feel like there was any mega big revelation with Loki, with our main character. What are my thoughts on the other characters? Well, Sylvia actually is really great. I like her because she's actually kind of oblivious to emotions. She travels across time and space or whatever for thousands of years, I'm assuming, and has basically been alone. So when Loki is like trying to, swoon her, I guess, she just seems kind of lost. And I like that. Like, it actually makes a lot of sense for a character. So I've really enjoyed that part. Mobius, I knew, I expected him to be dead or pruned, whatever you want to call it. I just hope wherever he is, he gets a jet ski, because I think that'd be great. Renslayer is actually the one that I find really, really interesting, because she's hot and cold. Like, if you're, with the TVA and you're following their mantra, everything's great. She seems really, really friendly, and trusting, I guess. She just accepts, what Mobius says to her, or at least at face value. But then, as soon as you're not, she's just like, kill him, prune him, whatever. It's just, I found it really, really interesting to see the difference, how different she was within just a few minutes. So, she's gotten a lot more interesting, over the course of this series. And then of course there's B-15. I mean, who couldn't love B-15? She's great. She's going through this whole arc too, where she goes through this tough person, and now you kind of get to see you don't get to see what her previous life was, but you actually start to get to see her to have some emotion. So I'm really interested to see what happens with her, because she's not dead. I mean, we didn't see her get pruned. Maybe she did get pruned. Who knows? These stuff hasn't really been super clear throughout this series. Is there anything else I would like to see from this episode? Some explanations of anything, like rules that are established and not broken, right? Like, there's just a lot of things as far as a world building perspective that I would just like them to say, and not have it be this like whimsical rule that seems to just not, I don't know. Like, everything that they keep telling me is a rule of this world just seems to be broken, right? Okay, apocalypse. Things aren't supposed to matter in an apocalypse, but all of a sudden, new type of branch that they can form. I mean, it legitimately is boggling my mind. What do I expect to happen next? Well, Loki is gonna group up with his other Lokis in this destroyed New York thing. I'm pretty certain that all those humans and all those previews that we have with the humans, with the little vote Loki pin, is gonna come into play. So I'm very curious. There might be a Loki gang war happening, which I might find interesting. I'm not super sure. Ultimately, and here's my big prediction for the end of the entire series, is that the big bad at the very, very end is another Loki. Okay, and in fact, I'm doubling down on this, that I think it is the Loki that, quote, died to Thanos. So I'm not sure. I'm not 100%, but I have reason to believe it. I'm jumping on that conspiracy train with a bunch of other people. So I have a feeling that it makes an interesting role reversal, because the Loki we start out with is the worst of the worst, and he's transitioning to be our protagonist, or he's been our protagonist the whole time, but he's transitioning to try to be a good guy. Well, we have good guy Loki, the one who's buddies with Thor, quote, dies to Thanos, whatever, and he is our antagonist. So I think that's a really interesting paradox. And honestly, this series has just been about Loki. Like, maybe not our Loki, but there's a Loki. And I mean, you take a look at the logo, and it just makes it more and more clear to me that this series is just filled with Lokis. I thought there was only one, and now there's two, and now there's dozens. So to me, everybody's a Loki at this point. So I think that's going to be great. I think it'd be very interesting. I think it will. I don't know. I hope my prediction is correct, and that somehow he gets usurped. I mean, Lokis don't die. That was a rule that was established. So to me, that Loki is not dead. something will happen, knock him out of power, and then good old Kang the Conqueror is going to come in because we know he's in here somewhere, or it allows room for him to come into the series somehow. How much did I enjoy this episode? A dose, a 2, definitely a solid 2. I just didn't feel like a whole lot was happening. Again, going back to my initial comment, I just really thought that Loki has just been... he just isn't interesting. He's not excited. Like, there's nothing to make me want to root for him. I am more interested and invested in other characters than the main character, just because the main character stinks. And I'm not saying the acting's bad. I'm not saying the special effects. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying he can't do anything. He's pretty much just awful. He is getting cleaned up by Minutemen. He's getting cleaned up by enchanted version of Sylvia, Bufus or whatever his name is. I am baffled beyond belief why this character cannot do anything, and it just causes frustration. So anyway, how excited am I for the next episode? I'm also going to say it is a number 2 because I don't even know what I'm looking forward to. At this point, I'm on autopilot. I just want to see the end to its conclusion, and maybe I'll be right. Maybe I'll be super excited. But in the end, I did feel like this episode was a transition one and just kind of gave me some information. So hopefully something cool will happen. Is there anything else I want to add? Yes. I've been really disappointed with what a Loki can do. Like, his character has been put in a situation where he basically is not built to win. Okay, he is made to lose, and they even say this throughout the series. Like, Loki's just lose, and it's awful. So basically, it set me up that this entire series he's just going to keep losing until probably at the end where he'll get his big win and everyone gets to be happy, which is not very satisfying at all because there's really no upward progression for this character. It's just him constantly losing. Anyway, this character is put in a situation where he can't use his lying, he can't use his magic, like all his Asgardian perks or ice giant perks that he has just seem to have washed away. He's just completely incapable of anything. So if I had to say anything, I'm just really let down that the character that I'm supposed to be rooting for, there's nothing to root for. In fact, I find myself thoroughly enjoying all the other characters more, specifically Sylvia. I find her way, way more interesting. Even Mobius with his jet skis, he just has more going on, and Loki is stuck he's constantly just getting cleaned up, and he's just moving along with the plot. I don't feel like he moves the plot. There's only a few times specifically when he discovers where Sylvia is that he moves the plot. Otherwise, the plot's just moving and he's along for the ride. All right, and that's the end of this episode. Sorry, this kind of sounds like a Debbie Downer again because I really want to enjoy this series. Like, I really do. I've been super pumped about it. Loki is like my favorite character in all of the MCU. I shouldn't even say like he is my favorite character in the MCU. He has all the skills, he has the perks, he's a bard. Like, he is what I want from a character, and he is just getting the shaft repeatedly. He is getting the shaft, and I want to see that change. So either way, please consider subscribing. If not, I don't know what to tell you. Just at least watch one of my other videos that YouTube recommends. Thank you so much. Peace.